is going to be basic Excel, and we're going to be looking at some topics. So the first thing is, what is a spreadsheet? What is Excel? What is it used for? The main purpose of Excel is it's like you having a table that you can use to store data. You can use it for data entry. You can use it to organize data. You can use it to perform some financial analysis. You can use it for budgeting. I mean, anything you can do on your calculator, like, personal finance, you want to know how much you're spending, instead of writing it on paper or Word and using a calculator to add things together, you can just put it on Excel, and Excel will do that for you. Excel will add, subtract, and do so many other functions. You can use Excel, to do your tax returns and different things, and it is so flexible to use. Today, we're just going to be looking at basics, how to create an Excel sheet and what are the basic things you can start using it for. So the first thing is you have to have Microsoft Excel installed on your computer. And depending on the version you have, on the version you have, it looks slightly different, but it's usually the same thing. You would find the same functions on them. I think the one I'm currently using is an old one. So probably tomorrow, for the more advanced one, I would use my newer version. But no matter the version you're using, you have all the basic functions on it. The first thing is you have to have it installed on your computer. It doesn't come with a new laptop. You have to buy Microsoft Excel. Once you have Microsoft Excel, to open it is just to go to your tax button and go to Microsoft Excel and open. And when you open Microsoft Excel, you have a blank page that looks like this. And this is what a blank page is. So it's just a grid, a form of table. And we're going to look at different things you can do with Excel. So you have like tables. And if you look at it on this horizontal side, you have letters A, B, C, D, up to like, it goes on for so long. And then you have, so those are called columns. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. These are your columns. And then you have rows, which are numbered 1 to forever. And what you have in Excel is you have addresses. So the same way you have address in your home, every cell has an address. And you can see it in this tax bar here. So like where I am currently is B2, which is a combination of the column and the row. So if I click anywhere else, that is G2. I click somewhere else, that is E5. And you can see the address up here. A new person, you've opened your Excel sheet and you want to do some basic functions in Excel. For instance, you are going to the supermarket. I don't know why I always use supermarket example. You're going to the supermarket. So we're going to Tesco today and we want to buy some things. My budget is limited. I have only 20 pounds, for instance. So that's my 20 pounds. I'm just going to move it up here. So I want to make a basic list for Tesco. And the way you type into here is you just click anywhere you want to type and then start typing. And when you want to move to the next cell, just press enter on your keyboard. So items that I want to buy in Tesco, I want to start listing them. I would buy bread, I'll buy milk, sugar, I'll buy flour, eggs, and oranges, for instance. So these are my items. And I know the price of this item. So I'm going to put the price, and this is price per one, per pack or per one, whatever. So I know my bread costs £1.50. My milk is £1. My sugar, maybe 50p. And all you need to do is just click on the cell and type. My flour, £2. My eggs, 5. My oranges, £2. And I want to buy the quantity I want. Maybe I have a big family, so we need 3 loaves of bread, 2 bottles of milk. We need 5 packs of sugar, 1 pack of flour. I need 4 packs of egg and 2 packs of oranges. So I know the price of these items. I know what's the quantity I need for my family, but I only have 20 pounds. And before I go to Tesco and pick up all these things, I want to know that my 20 pounds will be able to cover these items before I get to the till and I start taking things off. So I'm just doing like a simple spreadsheet. And this is like a basic example of what you can use Excel for. So, traditionally, I'll take my calculator to know the total price of bread that I want to buy. So my calculator, I'm going to write total here. I know bread is £1.50 and I want 3. So I'll take my calculator and say 3 times £1.50, right? But instead of using my calculator, Excel will actually do this for you. So all you need to do is what you need to use your calculator for. You can do it exactly in a similar way on Excel. And the way to do it, you're going to put a simple formula on Excel. And when you want to put a formula on Excel, you start with equal to. So when you type equal to in a cell, Excel is saying, is waiting for you to put a formula. So you're saying, I want to do something when you put equal to. So it will wait for you to put a formula in. So my formula is 1.5, £1.50 times 3, right? The same way I'll use the calculator, I'll type it here. But instead of punching £1.50, I already have the £1.50 on this spreadsheet. So I'll say equal to, I'll click on this £1.50, and times is star in Excel. So I'll say times, and I know I'm buying 3. And the 3 is already on this spreadsheet. So I just click on this 3. And what do I do after this? I press enter. And it's giving me £4.50. That is what's going to cost me to buy 3 loaves of bread. And because I've done it in one cell here, I don't have to type it again further down. All I need to do is click on this cell. And if you look at this cell that I'm clicking on, once you select the cell, it has like a border around it. And in the bottom right corner, there's a dot. When I move my cursor to it, you can see it changing. So this is my cursor with this cross, this fat cross. When I move it to that corner, it's changed to a thin cross. And that is because it's going to perform another function. So I can now hold your left mouse down. So that's clicking. You don't release the left mouse and then you just drag it down. And what you have basically done is you have calculated the price of 2 bottles of milk at £1 each. That is £2. 50p for 1 pack of sugar, you're buying 5, that's £2.50. Eggs, £5 per crate, you're buying 4, that's £20. Now I want to know the total of everything. So I know the total per item, which is this column here. Now I want to know the total of everything. So I want to sum this up. And all you need to type is equal to sum, open a bracket, just select and close the bracket and enter. Now I know that everything I've picked is £41. And this is definitely more than the £20 I have. I hope you're following. So you can use this to do simple calculation. Look at this, these columns. I have price per pack here. You won't even see that price per pack until I click on it and then you see it in the address pack. So we're going to format these cells. So assuming that you have a report you want to do and you want to put this table in it and you want it to look nice. Okay, someone wants me to repeat the total sum. I'll do that now. So to sum it, for individual ones, you multiply. So you can see the address there. And to sum, you can actually do different methods to sum. So the one I did before was equal to, type in sum, open a bracket, and then you're going to select all the values you want to sum. So I'm going to click on this first one, hold my mouse down and just drag that down and close the bracket and enter. And then I have 41. That is the fast method to do it. I will take that off. Another way to do this is a longer way to do it. If you don't know the sum, you know that when you want to add on a calculator, you press plus, right? So we'll do it that way. So it's going to be equal to, I click on the first one, I'll put my plus, click on the second one, plus, click on the third one, plus, click on that, and just continue like that. And then you get the same figure. But you don't want to do that if you have a long list, because it's just easier to just put your sum. Another way to do this is if you go to the taskbar here, look at this sum sign, Autosum. So all you need to do is click on where you want it. Click on where you want the sum, select where you want the sum, and just click on this Autosum here. And what Autosum does is you're saying sum this. So it will look around that cell and see and predict what you're trying to sum. You can see that there is like a selection around it. And all you need to do is enter, and then you have summed it. So there are different ways to do things in Excel. There is not one size fits all. So that is sum. And we're going to look at formatting. So this is my table. I have numbers there. How do I know that this is pounds and not dollars? So I want to put some formatting in to differentiate these numbers. And on your taskbar here, we have different functions that we can use. There is one here called accounting number format. And if you drop the arrow, it has some formatting that you can apply. I want pound, so I'll just click on pound, and that is it. And it has pound, so I know that this is the price, this is the quantity, and this is also a price. So I want to put the pound sign, but I don't want to go here and do it. So let's use another method. You can right-click on this cell and format cells. So right-clicking is, when you right-click on a cell, it brings you some functions that you can use. So that's your right mouse button. So you right-click, you pick the function you want to use, and then what I want is currency. So here you can change it to whatever currency you want. There are quite a number there. In this case, I want pound, and that is okay. Another way of putting a format in is, I want to format the rest, but I don't want to, click on format or pick pound. I can actually copy the format from one place to the other using this format painter here. So what the format painter would do is it would copy the format from one cell to the other. So this is my cell with the pound. I want to copy the format. I'll select the cell, click on format painter. And when I come back, you can see that there's a brush with my cursor, with my cross cursor here. And anywhere you click that, it will paint the format from where you have copied to that new place. So let me paste it here, and then that will change. You want to change the format of everything, you can, if you notice, when I clicked on the format painter, I got the brush. After clicking once, it disappeared. So let me do that again. Format painter, I have this brush. If I click on here, that brush has disappeared. But if I want to use that format for different cells, I'll double click on the format painter, and then I have this brush, and then I can click as many times I want, and it will continue to paste that format to where I want it. And when I want to get rid of that brush, I'll either click the format painter again or press escape. So once you click the format painter again, the brush is gone. I'm just going to use that for everything. So I've changed the format. One other thing you can do in formatting is all these columns and rows, you can expand them, you can reduce them. So I can expand this, I can reduce it. Same thing with the rows, you can drag them. And the way you do that is just click between the columns. So you can see my cursor, fat cross. When I put it here between the columns, it will change. That cross changes to like an arrow with an arrow cross. So once you click it, once you press it down, you can actually drag it as wide as you want. So you can change the width of the columns, and the same thing applies to the rows. So this is my table. I want it to look nice. I want to put like a table on it. I want to make it I want to put grid lines on it. All I need to do is select, and the way you select is click on the first one, don't release your mouse, and just drag it to wherever you want to select. So you click on the first one, don't release the mouse, and just drag it. And that's my selection. What I want to do is I want to put borders on this. There's a border button here that I can use. So I can just drop down the arrow, and there are different borders I can use here. I can use this all borders, and it gives me all borders. I can add on the thick box border, and then the outside of the border is thick. Tesco, so I'll know where I'm going. I'll make this bold. So all these functions, we can use these functions. What I'm going to start going through these functions one by one so that you can see what you can do. The first one here is cut, and it is basically what it is. It would cut it. So you want to cut something from a particular place. If you, this 20, I want to cut it. If you click cut, you're cutting it, and then you want to put the 20 somewhere else. So if I click here, I will use my paste button, and then you can see the 20 has moved. If I want to make another list, for instance, for Asda, I want to compare the prices, but I don't want to change this, I can copy this old table. I will use the copy function, and I want to paste it here, so I will use the paste function. Another way to access the copy function is right-clicking. So what I've just done, I will undo it, and I'll do it in a different way. And this is your undo button here. So you can undo this, and then I want to copy this again, right-click. So once you right-click, you have different options, copy, and then I can click here, I'll right-click and paste. And that is how you copy and paste. So you don't have to type it again. So for instance, the reason why copy and paste is so good, for instance, I'm going to Asda now. So I can just change this test code to Asda, and all you need to do is click on it and type Asda, and you would overwrite it. In Asda, probably maybe my bread is cheaper. My bread is £1. I'm going to make this bold so you can see the difference. So probably my bread is £1, but my milk is £2.50, and my sugar is 70p. My flour is £1.50, and my eggs are £2 each. Oranges are £2 each. Can you say that by just changing the price, all the formula that I've copied, they're adapting to that change. So you can see that this total is just calculating. So it is dynamic, as in it would calculate. So for instance, I'm going to ask that, I've changed the price to Asda prices, but now that my eggs are cheaper, maybe I want to buy 6 packs of eggs. So as soon as you change it, you can see this total changing. So anywhere you put a formula, the formula is dynamic. It's just looking at that cell. So anything you put in that cell, that is what it's going to be calculating. So it's looking at the cell as against the actual amount. So that is how you copy and paste. So these are the functions here. Then you have your fonts here that you can use to change the font. You have different fonts that you can use. So we've changed that font to change it to something totally different. So we change the fonts. You can underline. Oh, sorry, you can put it in italics. You can underline it. Can you see that changing? I'm just going to make it. And you can align this, you can align anything you put in the cell. So these are your alignment buttons here. So you want to align, you want to start writing from the left. This is it. It normally defaults to the left. You want to move that to the middle. So I've selected Tesco. You can see that Tesco changing. And you want to start from the right. If you click on this, it starts from the right. You want to start from the top. That is it. Middle, bottom. So you can see that Tesco moving. And you want to change the font size, you can use this to make the font size bigger. Let's make this 16. And you can see this has gone bigger. So for instance, let me write a note here for myself. I'm going to Tesco. Make sure you take shopping bags. Okay. Tesco. So here, I typed in, make sure you take shopping bags. But because without this here, you will see what I've typed here. But because I have something on the cell beside it, you won't see it easily. You can choose to like expand the column to see it. But if you are typing a lot, you might not want to expand every column. So a function to use for you to see everything you have typed is wrap text here. So if you wrap the text, what it does is it would expand your row so that you see what you have typed. And then it can be useful when you're putting commentaries against cells without having to like drag columns too wide. So that is the function of wrap text. If you want to join 2 columns together, for instance, so you want to join this column and 2 cells together, this cell and this cell. You can select both of them. And what you use is the merge and center function. So if you look at this, you can see that I've actually joined these 2 cells together. And if you type anything, it's just going to be in the middle. It will recognize it as one cell. Going to Tesco. So it will recognize it as one cell. And if you don't want it to be one anymore, you just click on merge and center and you get your 2 cells back. So you have some other functions here, like a percentage. You want to apply percentage to a number. If you click on this, you get a percentage. So that's 5%. So you change the formatting of that cell to percentage. And one other thing you can do as well is, even though we've typed this in a table, If you want to put anything in between them, you can easily do that by inserting. So you can insert either rows or column. So for instance, I have my bread here, but I don't have anywhere to put my brand, the brand of the items I'm buying. So I want it to be between items and price per pack. So what I can do is I can insert a column between B and C. And the way I do it is you select the column. So I'm selecting column C. So you select the column on the right. It's going to insert the column to the left. So you right click. So once your column is selected, you can see the selection. And that's just by clicking on the bar on top of the column where the letter is. So once it's selected, right click and then insert. And then you can see that I've inserted a column between items and price per pack. And if you want to delete a column, all you need to do as well, select the column you want to delete, right click, delete. Just checking if okay, no messages. So you can always delete, you can insert, you can delete. So it's right click, insert. If you do anything and you don't like, you can always undo it. So that's the undo button there. And if you did something before that you've undone, you can redo it, which is the button here. So redo will insert that column. Undo will delete that column. So you can always go back. And if you've performed some functions and you want to actually go back, a couple of functions, you can do that by dropping this arrow here. And it will show you everything you have done. And you can just go to where you want to undo it till, and then just click it. But bear in mind, it will undo everything from the top up to that point. So you've done something 5 steps down the line and you realize, no, I shouldn't have done that. You can go back 5 steps and just undo everything. Let's see. Okay. So let's look at, deleting data is just selecting the cell and press delete on your keyboard. So it's as simple as click on the cell, delete, and that is gone. But if you want to overwrite a cell, you can actually, just type in on it. I'm going to undo that. So I've typed, I'm going to Tesco. And so I've typed this already, and I want to insert something else in between this. I'm going to Tesco, because maybe I didn't word that sentence correctly, and I don't have to retype everything I've typed here. So I want to say I'm going to Asda, then I will go to Tesco. So instead of just now starting, I'm going to Asda, then I will go to Tesco afresh. I can easily click here on the tax on the address bar. You can see that. You can see my cursor blinking. That's where I want to insert. That's where I want to type now. So I'm going to Asda, then onwards to Tesco. So you can easily do that. Just type in here, just click on the address bar and type. Another way to do it, I'm going to undo that, is to click on that, just double click where you want to put that word, double click. And then you can see that sign, that's a blinking sign. And then you can type in whatever you want to type in. So what Excel does is Excel kind of saves you time. You don't have to do the things you're doing over and over again. You don't have to repeat tasks. You can just copy and paste things across the way. So you can imagine if you have a long list here, and you just want to calculate all the way down. And this table, Excel also can number things for you. I'm going to delete this. So all the items, I want to know how many items I'm actually buying. So one way of doing this, because this is quite a short list, you would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? But this is not how to do it in Excel, because Excel, if it's a long list, then you can imagine you go on and type. But on Excel, what you do is, once you put 1 here, I'm going to put 1, and I'm going to select that cell. So once I get to that left bottom corner, if I press my left mouse and drag that down, there are options. So Excel doesn't really know what I want to do. It might be that I want to copy 1 down. And when I want to copy 1 down, that is the way I would do it. But I need to tell Excel that I'm actually trying to number this. So I want you to number it. Can you see that there's this box here that appeared after I've filled it down? So if you click on this arrow, what it has done is it has copied the cells. But what I want to do is I want to fill it like a series. So I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll just select fill series. And then it's done that for me. I'm going to undo that. Another thing I can do is, once my cursor is at this point here, I can double click and it will also fill it down. It will fill it down as long as there's something beside it. So it will fill it down up to the point of the items beside it. And then I would go here and say fill series. Another way to do this, I'm going to undo this, to remove the step of fill series. So because I know it's defaulting to copy. So once I'm here, I'll press my mouse down. I've selected it down. I'll press my control button. I don't know if you can see it, but there's another cross that appeared beside the cursor. Let me make it a bit bigger so that you can see. So once I press my mouse down, this is me pressing the control button. You can see that it's a very tiny cross. And then I drag it down. And that is it. It has numbered it for me. Just going to make it smaller. And if you want to make this nice and colorful, you know, you're putting it in a report and you want it to stand out, you can color all these things as well. So you can color the heading. You can change the font color as well. You know, if you change the font color to white and color this green, and then we can like do different things with this. Look at my price per pack. I can't see the pack because there's something beside it. Instead of wrap text like we did the other time, I can double click between the 2 columns. So if I double click this, it would adjust the column to fit what I've typed in. So that's another way of, if you don't want to drag the column, you just want it to fit what you have typed in. I'm going to undo that. Just double click between the 2 and it will just fit it in. So we're doing, okay. Font colors, okay. So we'll change font color. We can put this in italics. I think we've done that. And just trying to follow the topic. Strike through and subscripts. Okay. So this is my Tesco list. Okay. I don't want to buy milk anymore, but I don't want to take it off this list. The easiest way is just to delete it off this list, right? But I don't want to delete it. I want to strike. I just want to put a cross across it. So I can use my format painter to do that. And to get not your format painter, your formatting box. And to go to that, you can either right click and format cells. Or you can open this dialog box here and then you get the same thing. And what I want to do is I want to strike through this milk. So this is strike through. Okay. Can you see what is done? I would make that bigger. Sugar. Let's apply something else to sugar. Superscript. Okay. You can see what has happened to sugar. Flour. I can apply subscripts. So you can do different things with the formatting. So this is the formatting dialog box. And this is where you get all your formatting functions. So starting from the number where we apply the currency, you can apply date format here, time formats, percentages. When you get to the second tab, the alignment here, you can align. So you can either align here or align up here. So these are just the shortcuts to this box. So you can, for instance, let me select Tesco. I'm going to go back to the box, and then we can do center. Let's see. Okay, and that goes to the center. Back to the box, you can use this for fonts as well. Your shortcut to fonts is here. You can use this for border. Your shortcut to border is here. And you can use this to fill the colors. This is protection. This is more advanced if you want to like protect like a cell or something and you don't want to overwrite it, then you use that for protection. What is next on our list? Okay. So we've been working with this worksheet. So this is called a worksheet, this page you're looking at. If you want another sheet, for instance, I want everything I have here. So this is sheet 1. If you can see my tabs here, so that's sheet 1. You can actually name this sheet. So to name the sheet, I can right click and rename. So I will say shopping list. So this is my list here. I want this particular list. I want to duplicate this list. I want to just replicate it. Maybe I'm going to Morrison now, and I want to do exactly the same thing. And I don't want to do it on this spreadsheet, on this sheet here. You can actually right click and move or copy. So you can copy this particular sheet. So I will move or copy. So I'll do that again. Right click, move or copy. So I can either move this spreadsheet totally or copy it. What I want to do is copy it. So it's going to ask me where, so I'll say create a copy here, and it's asking me where I want to put it. So it's asking me where I want to put this new sheets. Here on the tabs here, I want to put the new sheet just before shopping list. So I'll select shopping list. I've clicked create a copy and OK. And if you can see, now I have shopping list 2. It would add 2 because all the tabs names, they need to be unique. So I have shopping list 2 and I have shopping list. So it's actually just replicated this for me. And to delete this tab, I don't need this tab anymore. I'll right click, delete. And it's going to warn you. If you delete a tab, you cannot undo and get it back, which is why it would warn you that you have to, if you delete it, then you're going to delete it permanently. The only way, after deleting this, the only way you can get this spreadsheet back is if you have not saved it, or if you saved it before and you haven't saved the new action, and then you can close the spreadsheet and then go back to the one you saved before. So I would delete it. And that takes us to saving spreadsheet. The way to save a spreadsheet is to click on the home button and save. And then you select the folder you want to save on. So click and save. I don't know why. Oh, okay. The reason why it's not taking me. Okay, click and save as, and then you select where you want to put this in your folder. And another way to save is, the shortcut is Ctrl S. You can always click Ctrl S and save your file. And then we're going to look at printing a worksheet. So we want to print this out and want to see what it would look like. We'll go to page layout. I want to see what it will look like. I want to print this on one A4 sheet of paper. And I want to see if it will fit the paper or not, because sometimes it might not fit the paper depending on your print area. So the easy way to look at your print area, if you look at these three buttons down here, if you select the one on the right, is a page break preview. If you click on that, let me show this anymore. You see a blue box around your data. Anything within the blue box, it will show you as page 1. That will be printed as page 1. If it's outside the border, then it won't be printed. So if you have multiple pages on the same spreadsheet, then it will print as, you will see page 1, page 2. I will just duplicate this so we can see. So for instance, I'm just copying and pasting this. And then we go to the page break preview. And this is my page break. So this is going to print as page 1. This is going to print as page 2. And then I have this as page 3. But I don't want it to print like this. I want this bit Tesco here on page 1. I want the second set of Tesco on page 2. And I want the third set on page 3. You can easily drag these blue lines. These are your page break. So if I drag this blue line to here, and this is my page 1, and then my page 2 is a bit wide. If I drag this here, and then I have this is now my page 2, and this is my page 3. So it's a bit more even. So when you print this out, you're going to have 3 pages with these different items. They're all the same anyway. You copy and paste. Or if you just want to print this on 2 pages, you can just drag this to wherever you want it to be. So that's page 1, and that is page 2. You want all this on the same page, just one page. If you drag it, and that is page 1. But bear in mind, this might be very small when you print it. And because it's spread out wide, I know that there's too much space in between these two here. So you can actually delete this cell, this column. And the way to delete is right-click, delete. So let me delete this one, right-click, delete. So I have it more compact. If you look at all this table, it's a bit uneven, right? This one is wide, this one is narrow, this one is narrow. And I don't want it to print this way. I want everything to be even. So what I would do is I would actually select all these columns. For instance, I'm going to select, the way to select all the columns is you click on the first selection, your first row, hold your mouse button down, and just select everything. So what I want to do is I want to make all the columns even. So instead of expanding the columns one by one, if you expand one by one, it won't be even because you will never be able to get it even. I want to make all the columns the same size. I will select all the columns, and then I'll click anywhere between any of the columns. Just hold your mouse button down, your left mouse, and drag it. You can see there's a width up there. So I'm dragging it and then release it. And then if you look at the width of all these columns, they are the same. B to O, they're all the same because you have expanded them to the same width number. So if you look at the width here, 11.22, it will be the same as anywhere else because you have selected them. And then I know that when I print this, it would be even on the paper. And I know that my paper is, the way my A4 paper is, I want this to be horizontal as against portrait on the paper. I would go to my orientation and change my orientation to landscape so that when it prints in landscape and not portraits. And if I want, it defaults to portrait. If I want portrait, I won't bother to change that. So this is my data, and to print, it will be file, print. And I can do a preview. So that is my preview. This is what my data would look like. It's quite small, isn't it? You can always adjust this. So I've got a question here to create a pie charts on Excel. I will be touching on pie charts tomorrow. So same time, if you log in tomorrow, we're going to be looking at charts, different types of charts. So this is a print preview. It's a bit small. I want to make it a bit bigger. If I go to page setup, which is here, so my page setup, I move it to the side. This is a bit too small. So I want to adjust the size. I want to make it bigger. Let's see if we can make it 100%. And okay. And look at that. So I made it 100% and okay, but it's actually now too big. It's gone to the other page. So what I can do, I'll go to my page setup again, and I'll do fit to one page. And let's do okay. And then it will fit it to one page. On your page setup, you can also set your margins. So what you want at the top, the right, the left, this is the default. And then if you have a header or footer, and the sheet, if you want to print it with the grid lines, if you click the grid lines and okay, it will show the grid lines when it's printed like that. So you might want to print with the grid lines. And then once you're happy with what you have, you can close print preview, and then you can print your documents the normal way, which is home, print, and then send to the printer. Okay. So I'm going to leave this print preview and go to the normal page now. And then let's see, what else can we do? Let's look at some more simple formulas that we can use. I would delete this other item, so we can just delete that. Okay. So remember at the start, we only have 20 pounds, right? And I'm going to make that. So that's our budget. Our budget is 20 pounds. 20 pounds. And we know Tesco, we're going to spend 40. We've calculated that what we're buying is going to be 41 pounds. So what is the difference between 20 and 41? You can actually calculate that here and know what you have as shortfall. And what the shortfall would be, I'll place it here. When you use a calculator, it would be 20 minus 41, right? That's the 20 pounds that you have and the cost of the items. So it will be equal to, I will click on this 20 minus, I'll click on 41. enter. And you can see that I'm short by 21 pounds. And I want to do the same for ASDA, using this 20 pounds as well. So Excel references cells. So when you put a formula, like if you look at this formula, I'm saying, look at cell F2, whatever is in cell F2. And that is, look at the cell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm saying, look up 9 cells, pick whatever is there, and subtract whatever is on the cell to your right. So that is what I'm saying. So if I copy this formula, it's going to reference another cell, because what this formula is looking at is looking at, it will just look up and say how many, what cell is on top of me. So what cell is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what cell is 9 places on top of me? I'll just take away the cell that is just next to me on my left. And that is what the formula is doing. So if I copy this, so I'm going to use the copy function here, copy, because I want to do the same thing for ASDA. And if you remember, I said you don't have to retype anything as in Excel, just copy and paste it. So if I click here and I want to paste, enter. If you look at this formula, you will see that, can you see, when you click on the formula bar, you can see the cell is picking. So one is highlighted in blue, one is highlighted in green. So what is formula? When I copy this, it will just look up 7 cells. Is it 7 or 9? So it's just going to look up the number of cells that you specified in the previous one, and then take the cell to the left away. So if you look at this, it's not giving me the right answer, because it's not looking at this F2 here. It's not looking at this 20. Whereas this is looking at that 20, and I want this to look at 20. So what I would do, I'm going to delete that, because this 20 is what I want to compare all my cells to. So I want to freeze that 20, so that when I type in the formula, when I copy that formula, it will only look at that F2. No matter where I paste the formula, it will be looking at that cell F2. So what I would do to freeze F2 is I would use my F4 button. So this is my formula, right? And this is my F2. So if you click on that F2, apologies, this might be a bit advanced, but it's actually quite simple. If you click on F4, button F4 on your keyboard, can you see what has happened? It will put a dollar before the column and before the row. So you can see that dollar and enter. So what it has done is that F2 is not going to change no matter where I copy this formula to. So I copy this formula, Ctrl+C, and I paste it here, Ctrl+V, which is shortcut for copy and paste. So if I go here, you will see that exactly the same thing I did before, but this cell is not changing. If I had not frozen that F2, then it would be picking a cell around here. Well, I don't want that. So I will freeze that and then copy the formula. No matter where I copy this formula to, Ctrl+C, if I copy it here, for instance, Ctrl+V, and look at it, you will see that it will always reference this cell. And that is because that dollar sign has frozen both the column and the row. You can either freeze the column, only F, or freeze the row, only 2, or you can freeze both of them. You can see that this is now 9, which is the right amount. So I know that here, I'm 9 pounds short in ASDA. I am 21 pounds short in Tesco. So my main aim is that I want to fit this within my budget. So what can I reduce here to fit this within my budget? So let's assume that, okay, I've realized that I think ASDA is my best option in this case. So if we go to ASDA, we want to reduce 9 pounds out of this. you can easily reduce, the price is fixed, you don't set the price, but maybe you can reduce your quantity. So for instance, I'm buying 6 eggs. What if I change that to 5? What happens? I'm short by 7 pounds. What if I change bread to 2? Then 6 pounds. Sugar, 5 packs of sugar. Sugar is not good for me anyway. Let me change it to 2. And then 3 pounds 90. And then you can actually see, you can actually change whatever you have on the table to fit your budget. So I'm still 3 pounds 90 short. Let me change this to 2. I'm 2 pounds 10 short. Probably I don't want, I want just a pack of oranges. I only want a pack of oranges. So now I have 4 pounds 10 extra. So probably, oh, sorry, I wasn't even short before. I've already gone under actually. So let's see, 3 eggs. So now I have 10p. So maybe I can add something else. I know that once I take all these items to the till, I'm going to pay 19 pounds 90 and I have 10p in my pocket. This is a simple example. You can actually use this, to budget your personal expenses. So you have your salary, you have your, your bills, your rent, your electricity, your water, and then you can actually make a list, and then you actually see what you have left at the end of the month on a spreadsheet, and you can see where you can reduce. And also, if like you have a business and you're buying items for 5 pounds, and you're selling for 25, and you can make a list that will comprise of your cost of sales, your stock, everything you're spending, and then you'll be able to work out your profits just on a simple spreadsheet. And you're only using functions that you would use on your calculator, like this plus this plus this, or this multiplied by this. I hope this is clear. If you have any questions, please let me know. And tomorrow, we're going to be looking at charts. So we're going to go to more essential, more intermediate Excel. We're going to look at charts. We're going to look at some more formulas. We're going to look at, if we can, we'll get to like VLOOKUP functions, index and match, if we can, tomorrow. And we'll look at more advanced functions. So we're going to be working with bigger data tomorrow. And I'll take you through all the charts, how to create charts, how to create pivot tables on Excel. And the pie chart that you create on Excel, that you can actually copy that and paste it on your PowerPoint. So you don't actually create the charts on PowerPoint, you paste it on your PowerPoint. Thank you for joining tonight. I think we're going to hang it here tonight. I hope it's been useful. I will see you all tomorrow.